Hello everyone, my name is PolishLynx and we escaped into the forest and I have no idea where this will lead. I have a feeling we'll end up in the old camp again, actually, and there I don't know what can happen. I sat staring in the darkness of the forest. The grasshoppers could barely be heard now. If not for Masha's elaborate briefing, I would think I was dead. "Forgive me," she whispered quietly. "For what?" "For everything, for me being like that, for whatever we failed to achieve." "It's not the right time for that now," I said tenderly.
"We don't have much time left, so I'd say it's the right time."
She looked at me and faintly smiled.
"Forgive me if I only hadn't been so selfish in the first place."
I looked into her eyes, her bottomless, sorrowful eyes, and I felt a hot tear crossing my cheek. No, it's me who should be sorry. I was totally ignorant of what to say in such a situation. I did so much wrong to her, caused her so much pain, and now, at the last minute, I can't think of anything other than an empty "I'm sorry." I was overwhelmed with anger at my helplessness, at being unable to protect the only person I held dear. "You know, I always loved you."
"I know,"
she said quietly. Masha smiled again, although her face was trembling and tears were running down her cheeks. "And I still love you."
"I know."
I couldn't stand it. I longed to turn away, to close my eyes. But I can't afford weaknesses at this last minute. I leaned down and kissed her hard. Time stood still for us. This cursed pioneer camp, the dark night, all those hellspawn and even the bloody grasshoppers just ceased to exist. The whole universe ceased to exist. Just two of us were left.
Three of you, there's Lena also.
And maybe Ruther survived? Just when I was almost willing to believe that it was all just a bad dream, the woods came alive with a rustling. The foliage far away quivered and a swarm of vague silhouettes emerged from the darkness. I still couldn't make them out, but I was certain that they are the same creatures that we'd seen at the bus stop. My whole body was stricken with dismay. I was afraid to breathe.
"So this is how it ends,"
said Masha quietly and held me tighter. "No, this is not the end." Suddenly I realized that I will fight for her till the last drop of my blood, as long as there is the slightest chance of survival. I jumped up, took her off the ground, and rushed over to Lena. She was lying, deathly pale, with her eyes open, and she didn't seem to understand what was happening at all. I started shaking her by the shoulders. "Get up!" There was no reaction. I gave her a few slaps and she let out a dull moan. "Get up now!" As I roused Lena, she stared at me with a spaced out look. "Let's run!" I grabbed the girls by their hands and rushed aimlessly, the further from them the better. I was tumbling down, getting up again, helping Lena and Masha to get up too, hewing through the dense foliage. Eventually the noise faded, leaving us with only the quiet chirping of grasshoppers. The light flickered in the distance. Soon enough we came out into a small clearing completely sheltered by the trees. There was a building that somehow looked like a kindergarten. "What is that?" I stammered.
"The building of the old camp,"
said Lena faintly. It seems that she was slowly going back to her senses. I stopped, hesitating. Sure, it was quite naive to think that we can find shelter there. It was obvious that we can't be secure anywhere with all the stuff that's happening. On the other hand, we were on the verge of collapsing. Especially the girls. I took a few hesitant steps towards the building when the rustling from behind reached my ears. I froze in my tracks, unable to turn around. The rustling was growing louder, and suddenly we heard the diabolical chirping. Wait, there are a lot of Ulyanas. I forced myself with superhuman effort and turned around. A crowd was behind me. A crowd of the little girls. Or rather, a crowd of Ulyanas. They were all exactly the same as that Ulyana I saw this morning, with the same torn face and horribly distorted smile. and all of them made the same hellish sound, the chirping of grasshoppers, a diabolical noise that chilled my heart. We froze where we stood, unable to take even a single step away. All of a sudden, one of Ulyanas came forward from the crowd and pulled the severed head of Rotor from behind her back. A grimace of horror was permanently frozen on his face. Oh! I almost fainted as she started to talk.
Hi there, Semyon, how are you doing?
Her voice felt like a bullet piercing through my brain. I screamed and fled towards the old camp building, dragging the girls along. I must admit that back then I completely stopped thinking of Masha or Lena. Maybe they were also screaming, maybe they were shocked by horror, I do not know. The most important thing now is to get as far away as possible from these monsters. We flew into the building and immediately the ground disappeared under our feet and I fell into the darkness. I woke in complete darkness. My whole body ached, especially my legs, but somehow I still managed to get up, leaning against the wall. The sound of the Ulyanas was nowhere to be heard, which calmed me down a little. I called out in a thin voice,
Masha? Lena?
I heard a movement nearby and felt someone gripping my leg. I instinctively jumped back, but at the same moment a faint voice came from below.
Are we still alive?
Seems like it. I helped Masha get up. Suddenly a bright light fired up a couple of meters away from me. I leaned against the wall trembling, but immediately realized that it was Lena who had turned on a flashlight. Where did that light come from? Where did you get that? Lena came closer, limping.
I took it just in case. Yesterday.
I took the flashlight from her and shone it around. We are in some kind of tunnel. The walls were lined up with wires, until lamps were hanging from the ceiling.
Where are we?
I don't know, looks like some kind of bomb shelter. I looked up and saw a pretty formidable hall, beyond which one could barely make out the hallway of the old camp building. The floor had probably rotted with age, and we fell down here. At first glance there was no way to climb back, too high and there is nothing to grab. So what is there? Go further? I asked, not really expecting an answer.
I don't know, but we'll have to check.
I shone the flashlight ahead of us and took a few uncertain steps. My whole body was covered in bruises and scratches, but I could still walk.
Ouch!
Lena cried out behind me. What is it?
I think I sprained my ankle.
I was honestly expecting the next line to be something cliched like, leave me behind, I will only be better than, but of course she could never say that. Okay, lean on me. I went over to Lena and offered her my shoulder. Soon enough the stone walls gave way to wooden ones, and we ended up in some sort of a mine.
What about the room? Let's have a break.
Masha begged. I carefully lowered Lena to the ground and sat down nearby. Well, at least those monsters are nowhere to be seen.
But for how long?
I sighed heavily and closed my eyes.
What do you think is going on here?
Masha's voice was trembling, but she still sounded more or less confident. Looks like she's so exhausted and devastated that there is just no strength left for fear. I don't know. And honestly, I don't want to know.
But we're gonna get out?
Definitely. I couldn't see her face, but I was sure that she's smiling. Suddenly the flashlight blinked and went out. Fuck! But you had matches, from what I remember, in your pocket. I hit it with my palm several times, and the mine's walls lit up with a dim light once again, and I immediately realized that something was wrong. Lena was nowhere to be found. The nurse disappeared. I whispered,
What?
Masha grabbed me by the sleeve and stared at the spot where Lena had been sitting a moment ago.
How? But how?
She started to cry quietly. We'll die. We will definitely die. I also very much wanted to burst into tears. Darkness surrounded us all around, closing in. The flashlight was gradually dying, and with it our chances of survival. Get up, time to go, the battery will die soon. A couple of minutes later we came to a fork. Alright, now it's time to actually get a map. get the map on. I remember it was right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, or something like that. But a couple of minutes later we came to a fork. What the hell? Is this some kind of labyrinth too? I hissed under my breath.
Let's go back, maybe.
No way. Masha pressed against me even harder.
Where to then?
I don't know, but we had to choose anyway. And I decided to go right. Soon we came to another fork.
Where to now?
Let's stick to the direction we chose before. We had been wandering for too long. We had neither strength nor will left to move on. I was so terribly thirsty I was ready to lick the moisture from off the walls.
Let's sit, just a little, a bit.
We can't, we must keep going.
But just a minute.
Masha begged in anguish. Fine. She lowered her head onto my shoulder. The flashlight was blinking more and more often, so I decided to turn it off for now, to save the battery.
This is it.
I don't know how much time passed. I desperately wanted to sleep, my eyes were closing by themselves. How did we first met? That was so long ago. But what? So long way ago, okay. Do you remember? I asked in a whisper.
What?
Masha's voice was trembling. How we met?
Yeah.
She tried to laugh but immediately began to cough.
I will sleep for a while, okay?
Just for a while, or you will sleep through the whole day again.
Well, but you will wake me up.
Of course. I kissed her and closed my eyes. Oblivion was getting closer, but I didn't care. I was transported back in time to that very day. Oh. What will happen? My whole body was aching. Perhaps my brain couldn't rest peacefully because it was distracted by thousands of signals from my nerve endings. Somehow I rose up and woke up Masha. After all, we were planning to survive. How long have I been in this mine? Fork after fork, tunnel after tunnel. Masha was whispering something all the time. To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. It seems that I won't be able to handle even one more turn. But suddenly... okay, I know where you are. But suddenly the flashlight highlighted a tight passage in the dark, and soon we found ourselves in an open chamber.
Look!
Masha was pointing somewhere into the darkness. I flashed the light there and saw a neckerchief lying on the ground. This is not... No, let's go. At last we got out of the labyrinth and found ourselves in a small room. There were broken bottles all over the floor, pipes stretched all along the walls, and at the end of them were rusted valves. A mess of graffiti was scrawled all over the walls. And this is a change of scenery. I sighed. I'm afraid what you can see there actually. I have a bad feeling there might be Lena somewhere. The flashlight had almost died and I had to shake it up every 10 seconds to slightly recover the battery. Exhausted, Masha dropped to the floor. We can't stop. I'm sure there is the exit somewhere here.
How do you know?
I looked at her. She obviously had no energy anymore. Masha was struggling with her exhaustion and could lose consciousness any second. I just know it. I smiled, trying to look encouraging.
Well, if so.
She leaned against the wall and stood up hardly. Sit here for now. I will see what is further on.
I'm afraid.
Masha trembled. I'm not going far. She raised her eyes to me, full of hope, and nodded almost imperceptibly. I looked around and noticed a heavy iron door. My attempts to open it came to nothing. It was completely rusted shut. I wish that pipe was here now. But there was no other choice. I braced my leg on the wall and threw all my weight against the handle. My muscles black, my forehead was awash with sweat, my vision darkened. But the door didn't budge, just gave off a hollow rattle. It's alright, wait a second. I shouted over to Masha, gasping for breath. I need to find some kind of stick. I ran over to Masha, bent down and smiled. There is definitely an exit behind this door.
Huh?
She looked at me wearily. I ran out of room and began to scout the mine in search of something suitable. The flashlight was about to die and, having blinked its last, it finally went out. I panicked and began to blunder around trying to find a way back. However, I kept running to walls and couldn't remember at all how I got here. Alright, am I making things or... Really, he put matches in his freaking trousers. And... am I making this out? Masha! Masha! I screamed, hoping that she would hear me. Suddenly a sound came out from behind me. A light appeared and my shadow appeared on the ground, stretching far off into the darkness. I was rooted to the spot by fear. I heard a seemingly familiar voice.
What's wrong, Semyon? Got lost?
I slowly turned around and saw Lena holding a flaming torch in her hand. Ooh! Her face was disfigured by an inhuman grin.
Ooh! I've come for you.
No, this was the same Lena that I saw at the square last evening. The same at Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. That was Lena, and at the same time not Lena. This creature was more like those Ulyanas.
I'm coming for you.
You, who are you? I squeezed out.
It's Lena, don't you recognize me?
She burst into devilish laughter.
You completely forgot about me while having fun with them.
Words stuck in my throat.
It's alright, there's nobody left now, just the two of us.
So you did everything.
Bingo! Not everything, of course.
For a second her face became guilty, but then she grinned again.
Slavia was first. She was always so annoying. She was Mr. Reliability, diligent, hardworking, always everywhere, agreeing with everyone. Yuck! Boy, did she scream when I was tearing off her arms. It's a pity you didn't get to see it all.
Her mouth began to tremble and her saliva dripped out of it and her eyes rolled up.
And Annalisa, everybody's annoying me, I don't need anyone. Now she's hanging peacefully down on the tree. However, it wasn't easy to leave her up there, but it had much greater effect. How we all screamed, like pigs in a slaughterhouse.
Lena's face was twisted by a grin of sick pleasure.
Alright, just that bitch Miku left to deal with, and then it's over.
She produced a giant cleaver covered with blood from behind her back.
Well, actually...
It seemed to me that she was lost in thought.
I don't know what that crap in the form of Uliana was. Her and the other pioneers weren't killed by me, but does it really matter now?
She shook the torch and it flared out in a second.
Wait here, I'll be quick.
Her devilish laughter came from behind me. That means she went after Masha. I must do something quickly. But I have absolutely no idea which way to run. The darkness completely disoriented me. Screw it. I ran the way I assumed Lena went. After only a short way, I painfully smashed the wall. I turned around trying to move slowly, but I stumbled over another obstacle, fell down and screamed in pain. Trying to rise, I realized that I couldn't put any weight on my left leg. Seems like I twisted it. I tried to crawl, but it worked out badly. The whole mine floor was covered with sharp stones, rusty rails and broken boards. After only a short way, my arms were torn to bleeding pieces of meat and my eyes couldn't be opened because of the dust and sand. I fumbled in my pockets and pulled out the matchbox.
You fucking idiot! Why didn't you do that before? Alright. With anger, let's end the episode here. See you in the next one. Bye.